Alright, so here I have some 303 fabric guard and Scotch, I guess they call it edge lock, where it's a sheet of thin plastic with a little bit of painter's tape on the edge. So basically I use that to cover up the whole car, as you can see, except for the rear glass obviously. So I covered up the whole car, even all the way up to the hood over there. Alright. That's because I'm about to treat my top. The last time I did this was when was the last time I did this? It was a little while back. But I just washed the car yesterday evening, and I had to wait for the top to dry before you treat the top. It's a little bit of lint and dust and everything on there, so I didn't like that. I think a lot of it was caused by some of the dust is caused by the smoke from the fires recently up in the town of Paradise. The whole town basically burnt down. So my thoughts are with those folks. There were, I think, something like 20 something. Last I saw, 20 something people, like 24 people or so, died from that. So my thoughts are out to those, their families, their loved ones. So anyways, back to the subject of this. So it's a little dusty. I actually took an air compressor and blew as much as I can off. There's still a little bit of lint here and there, but I'm not too concerned about that. Anyways, so you can see the whole car is basically covered up. So the last time I did this, I actually didn't use the painter's, the painter's, what do they call it again? The Scotch blue edge lock stuff here. Last time I didn't do this, and some of the 303 got onto the paint and stuff, and it's at least you can see it. You can see the surface. So if you do have the stuff getting onto your paint or your glass, your glass here, what you do is you use denatured alcohol. The denatured alcohol will clean it off, but the denatured alcohol will leave that spot bare basically. So after you do that, it's cleaned up. You should re-wax it. So so the last time I did this, I didn't use anything to protect this stuff, so I just kind of sprayed it as best I could, and I even used a paintbrush. But the paintbrush was kind of a pain, and everything was just sort of a pain, I thought. So I'm just gonna spray it down, basically covering this except for the glass, because I'm just gonna get some denatured alcohol and clean the glass. I think that's probably the best way, because no matter what, the glass is gonna get it anyways. I could use this protective to kind of cover it a little bit. I think it's still gonna get in the edges, and then some of it will run down anyways. So might as well save myself the effort. So anyways, once you do this, you just spray the 303, the fabric guard. So this 303 stuff works really well. As it says, it repels water. So when you get water on there, you actually see the water beating up instead of soaking in. It beats up. It's like if you had wax on your paint. How when you have wax on the paint here, the water will just beat up. So that's one of the things it does. And it also blocks out UV light. So that's one of the things that deteriorates the fabric on the top is UV light. So that's what I did to protect my all my painted surfaces and such. So that way I don't have to have a lot of cleanup work, basically. Minimize the cleanup work. All right, so, and this is the kind of the more expensive stuff because it has that tape on the end. I probably wouldn't, because I got this thing, basically on clearance at a discount. I got it from Osh. Osh, if you live in California, you know that Osh is going out of business because they're owned by Lowe's, and Lowe's is being really poorly managed. The management team in the last 5 years or so have been a really poor management team, and they haven't managed Lowe's very well, and Osh owning Lowe's as well, because of that, didn't do as well. So basically they shut it down. They went out of business. So I got this from Osh, at like I think 40% off or something like that. Whatever it was is, you know, I was like, oh, I saw this, and I just bought some. But normally this is kind of expensive because of the tape, the edge lock there. I would just buy the normal stuff without the tape, and you know, and get some painter's tape separately, and because you don't need the painter's tape everywhere, you know. If you see on the ragtop here, I just tucked it underneath there. I just took whatever the edge and I just took it underneath. Only a couple of spots where, you know, so a couple of spots here and there, and I still had regular painter's tape anyways, right, to help hold the top down and hold the edges and such, so it's spread out, right? So before you use the stuff, shake it up. It's already on spray. I'm just gonna try to avoid the glass right here, but otherwise I'm just gonna spray a little corner here just so you guys can see how it works. I don't have to worry about it, you know. So I'm gonna watch out for that edge. Obviously, it's still gonna get some on the glass there, but that's just kind of normal. Go one direction, go the other direction. I think the instructions on this thing tells you to do it like a crisscross pattern, which I'm probably not gonna do because, or well, I just attack it from different angles. You're not supposed to saturate this stuff because it's you don't want it to be saturated. It's enough to get on there. If you spray too much, it'll definitely get saturated. My rear glass here is pretty much completely covered already with the mist, so I'm not too concerned about that. Like I said, I'm just gonna use denatured alcohol to wipe that off, wipe it clean. So I'm basically focusing on all the edges, and focusing on all the edges, and whatever oversprays into the center, you know, then I could, you know, I could do that. You sort of see it's kind of not saturated, but sort of, if I spray a little bit more, it probably would be saturated. I probably want to focus some on the where the seam is, where the seam of the I might get that. Okay, now that's saturated right there. So a little bit too much there. I want to get some protection on the seam, a little bit more protection on the seam, I should say. Same thing with this side. I think the top gets more worn out than the sides and such, especially if you drive around with the top down a lot. I noticed that, you know, from the last time I sprayed this stuff, most of it stayed pretty waterproof, but the top here actually started to lose its the water beading effect, where, you know, where it's exposed when the top's down. So I'm gonna spray a little bit more on the top than those sides. I think I'm good. So that's it. That's basically the treatment, and just, you know, it takes, like, depending on the weather condition, it takes 12 hours to 24 hours for the stuff to cure. And that's, you know, it actually cures. It doesn't dry, you know, right? So people think, oh, it dries, but it's not actually not drying. It actually cures. So that's the difference between drying and curing. So this stuff will actually cure in between 12 to 24 hours. I think it just depends on the temperature. So I'm just gonna leave this until basically tomorrow. Leave it like this until tomorrow, and I'll take it off, and hopefully everything's good. I can see a spot possibly where the stuff, you know, leaked through, like right in here. I think I might have had a hole in the plastic. So I had to go back in that spot and denatured alcohol that spot. Same thing with like right here. You actually see it kind of see underneath the plastic is wet. I think I have a hole right there. So it actually leaked through in that spot, those spots. So I'm gonna have to go back into those spots and use some denatured alcohol and clean it off. But otherwise, that's about it. And obviously the back window, I need a denatured alcohol in the back window because it's completely saturated as well, or completely wet. You can see it running. See all that stuff is all running down right there. So yeah. So thanks for watching.